He did not give up even when the whole world was against him. He stood to the end even when everything around him was crumbling. He spoke in a way that makes his words sound powerful even decades later. Electric light bulb. Winston Churchill is a man who proved will is stronger than fate. White right pointing backhand index. How does his philosophy relate to Stoicism? White right pointing backhand index. Why do his quotes remain relevant even now? White right pointing backhand index. What life principles made him a legend? Police cars. Revolving light. The Stoics knew strong men are not born in comfort, but in struggle. Churchill was one of them. Fire today. You'll see his most powerful quotes and understand why they'll change your life. Fire. Quote 1. Success is the ability to move from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Electric light bulb. If you want to achieve something, be prepared to fall many times. White heavy checkmark. Every great man has suffered defeats, but he kept going. White heavy checkmark. Failure is not the end, but a test of your fortitude. White heavy checkmark. If you get up after a fall, you've already won. Police cars. Revolving light. Why is this important? Pushpin. People who are afraid of failure stay where they are. Pushpin. The Stoics believed every failure is a lesson that makes you stronger. Pushpin. If you don't give up, you're already superior to 90% of people. Fire. How to apply? White heavy checkmark. Stop being afraid of mistakes, see them as steps to success. White heavy checkmark. Don't let one defeat destroy your belief in yourself. White heavy checkmark. Remember, only those who keep going eventually arrive at the goal. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught defeat is not the end if you don't succeed. Shield. Quote 2. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, and the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. Electric light bulb. How do you see challenges? That defines everything. White heavy checkmark. When some see a dead end, others see a new path. White heavy checkmark. If you see hardship as a chance, you'll always find a solution. White heavy checkmark. True strength is the ability to turn obstacles into opportunities. Police cars. Revolving light. Why is this important? Pushpin. The world is full of people who complain about circumstances, but don't change anything. Pushpin. Only those who know how to adapt win. Pushpin. The Stoics knew you don't control life, but you do control your reaction. Fire. How to apply? White heavy checkmark. When faced with a problem, ask yourself, how can I use this to my advantage? White heavy checkmark. Don't let difficulties break you, look for opportunities in them. White heavy checkmark. Remember, the difference between a winner and a loser is perspective. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught the world is the same for everyone, but everyone sees it in his own way. Fire. Quote 3. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak, but courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Electric light bulb. Real strength is not only the ability to speak, but also the ability to listen. White heavy checkmark. Weak people shout but don't hear others. White heavy checkmark. A confident person is not afraid of silence. White heavy checkmark. He who listens learns, and he who learns becomes wiser. Police cars. Revolving light. Why is this important? Pushpin. Many people think that power is about being the loudest, but no. Pushpin. A true leader doesn't just talk, he or she knows how to understand. Pushpin. The Stoics knew controlling yourself is more important than controlling others. Fire. How to apply? White heavy checkmark. Don't be afraid of silence, it has more meaning than empty words. White heavy checkmark. When speaking, be confident, when listening, be attentive. White heavy checkmark. Remember, a strong man doesn't argue, he understands. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught wisdom comes not to those who speak, but to those who listen. High voltage sign. Quote 4. Not everyone has the spirit to keep on fighting, but whoever doesn't fight is already a loser. Electric light bulb. You may get tired, but you can't stop. White heavy checkmark. Life will bring you to your knees, but you decide whether to get up or not. White heavy checkmark. Only those who keep fighting get everything. White heavy checkmark. The Stoics knew without labor, there is no greatness. Police cars. Revolving light. Why is this important? Pushpin. People who quit halfway through never accomplish anything. Pushpin. If you go all the way, you're already unique. Pushpin. The biggest victories come after the most difficult challenges. Fire how to apply. White heavy checkmark. Don't look for easy paths, look for the right ones. White heavy checkmark. When you feel like giving up, remember why you started. White heavy checkmark. Remember, failure is just the moment before victory. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught, he who fights to the end always wins. You already know 4 powerful quotes by Churchill that change your mind. White heavy checkmark. Success is the ability to move from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. White heavy checkmark. A pessimist sees a difficulty in every opportunity, and an optimist sees an opportunity in every difficulty. White heavy checkmark. Courage is not only speaking, but also being able to listen. White heavy checkmark. Not everyone has the spirit to fight, but whoever does not fight has already lost. Electric light bulb. But that's not all. White right pointing backhand index. How did his philosophy help him survive in the darkest times? White right pointing backhand index. Why do his words remain relevant even now? White right pointing backhand index. How to use ego wisdom to become stronger. Fire now. You will see the latest quotes that can change your life. Fire quote 5. Hate is a wonderful feeling if it's directed at the wrong things. Electric light bulb. If you hate, use this energy correctly. White heavy checkmark. Hate can destroy, and it can make you become better. White heavy checkmark. If you direct it against your weaknesses, you will become stronger. White heavy checkmark. If you hate injustice, you will begin to destroy it. Police cars revolving light. Why is this important? Pushpin. People often lose themselves, wasting the energy of hatred on useless things. Pushpin. Stoics knew, emotions are a tool, it is important to know how to use them. Pushpin. If you control your anger, it can become your fuel. Fire how to apply. White heavy checkmark. Instead of hating people, hate your weakness and overcome it. White heavy checkmark. Direct all your energy to development, not to senseless anger. White heavy checkmark. Remember, hating your own laziness and fear will lead you to greatness. White right pointing backhand index. Stoics taught, control your emotions and they will make you invincible. Rocket quote 6. If you're going through hell, keep going. Electric light bulb. Don't stop, even if it hurts. White heavy checkmark. When everything is moving, the only way forward. White heavy checkmark. The scarier the moment, the closer you are to a breakthrough. White heavy checkmark. Suffering is simply a process of hardening your character. Police cars revolving light. Why is this important? Pushpin. People who stop when it's hard never achieve anything. Pushpin. The more pain you endure, the stronger you will become. Pushpin. Stoics believed, difficulties do not make you weaker. They make you ready for victory. Fire how to apply. White heavy checkmark. When it becomes difficult, tell yourself, I will not break down. White heavy checkmark. Don't look for easy ways, look for the right ones. White heavy checkmark. Remember, if you move forward, even when it hurts, you are already winning. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught, suffering is the path to strength. Keep going and it will be over. Crossed swords. Quote 7. We live by what we get, but we create life by what we give. Electric light bulb. If you want to leave a mark, start giving, not just taking. White heavy checkmark. The world remembers not those who only took, but those who created something. White heavy checkmark. The more you give, knowledge, strength, ideas, the more you get in return. White heavy checkmark. The real legacy is left by those who invest in this world. Police cars revolving light. Why is this important? Pushpin. People who only think about themselves end up with nothing. Pushpin. Stoics believed, the more you create, the more you live. Pushpin. Great people are remembered not for what they had, but for what they left behind. Fire how to apply. White heavy checkmark. Give this world more than it gave you, and you will become a legend. White heavy checkmark. Create value at work, in society, in life. White heavy checkmark. Remember, the more you give, the more it comes back to you. White right pointing backhand index. The Stoics taught, life has meaning only when you leave something behind. Gemstone quote 8. Stand firm as a rock. Let the waves break on you, not break you away. Electric light bulb. The one who is stable is not afraid of anything. White heavy checkmark. Life will always try to knock you off your feet, be ready. White heavy checkmark. Your inner strength is more important than external circumstances. White heavy checkmark. If you are hard as a rock, no problems will be able to destroy you. Police cars revolving light. Why is this important? Pushpin. People respect those who do not break under pressure. Pushpin if you are calm in chaos, you are already stronger than the majority. Pushpin Stoics believed self-control is the highest form of strength. Fire how to apply. White heavy checkmark stop reacting to chaos, be above it. White heavy checkmark don't let life control your emotions. White heavy checkmark remember, the calmer you are inside, the more powerful you are outside. White right pointing backhand index the Stoics taught, only he who controls himself controls his life. You will get stronger. Electric light bulb Winston Churchill didn't just talk, he lived the way he taught. White right pointing backhand index he did not give up after being defeated. White right pointing backhand index he did not allow circumstances to break his ego. White right pointing backhand index he believed that power is in self-control. White right pointing backhand index he knew that victory comes only to those who go to the end. Fire now you know the secret of endurance. Fire now you can become stronger than you were yesterday. White right pointing backhand index congratulations. You are no longer the same person you were yesterday. You are stronger.